everyone, and thanks for joining us for our 13th episode of Hello Nintendo. It's Lucky 13. I'm your host, Matt, aka TrainAss, and with me today, joining us again, is the ever-lovely Sam.
Quack, hello.
Thanks for hanging out with us. And we've got joining us our youngest member on the mod team, it's Brooks.
Hey.
I realized it just totally went game show host there. I even did the arm movements and everything. Yeah.
Great.
I will never do that again.
Do it every time.
Yeah. So it's our 13th episode. It's kind of hard to believe that we're this far into our, I don't know, we'll call it our season. 13 episodes in. Kind of cool. This episode, we're going to change things up a little bit. Instead of doing a full hour-long episode like we have, we're going to shrink it down and we're going to do a much shorter episode this time. See how that goes. So for today, we're going to be discussing the brand new Switch game Splatoon 2 that dropped on the 21st, so just the other day. As well as we're going to also be discussing the Nintendo Switch Online app, which dropped a couple days ago, and kind of our first impressions on that. But before we begin, let's find out what we've been playing. Sam, what have you been up to?
I saved Hyrule. I haven't finished Breath of the Wild, but with Splatoon coming out, I was like, these Gerudo, they're going to have to deal with their problems themselves. Ganon's the bigger threat right now. I went straight to Ganon. I beat the game. It was a decent ending. I think I need more time to expand my thoughts on what I thought about Zelda overall, but I'm happy to put it at rest for a while. I'll wait until the second lot of DLC comes out, and then I'll see what was actually going down with this Gerudo.
I'm probably going to take forever to finish the game, and I'll just watch an ending on YouTube.
I finished the game a few weeks ago, so I thought the ending was okay. Nothing amazing, but I found it suitable.
Yeah, it's suitable.
Okay.
It's a very different Zelda.
Yeah.
Taking a step back from it, it doesn't fit in with the other Zeldas, in my opinion. Not in a bad way. I'm not saying that as a criticism. It's definitely... So the low-key ending is fine for what it is. It's a little bit disappointing, because obviously when you storm a difficult dungeon and do a final boss, you want a bit more, but at the same time, it does fit the experience of the game as a whole.
One weird thing I found, though, was just how if you go to Hyrule Castle without beating the Divine Beast, it just seems like a better final boss.
Well, it only makes sense that the final boss would be a bit easier if you've got all 4 Divine Beasts helping you. I mean, that's what they were designed for. So it's part of the gameplay. I don't see how it's cheaper, and it doesn't lessen the ending to me.
I mean, just in terms of like the game itself, ignoring the story part of it, I think it would be cool if trying my best to avoid any such spoilers. But if there was another 4 that only happens if you unlock all 4 Divine Beasts, maybe? But I still thought the ending was fine.
So Brooks, what have you been playing?
I've mainly been playing ARMS and Splatoon 2. I mean, we'll go into our thoughts more on Splatoon 2, of course, later on. But new content update for ARMS dropped with the new character Max Brass and a few new modes and stages and arms and stuff. It's definitely a good update, and I like how they're doing the Splatoon style of adding more content post-launch. I mean, already we've got, just a month after the game dropped, a new character who plays much differently than the others, new stage, new arms, including my new favorite arm, the Nade, which is just basically a ball that you punch at your opponents, which is cool.
I've been playing a fair bit of Cave Story and actually working on a couple voice projects, so Cave Story's kind of been a little bit off to the side. And Splatoon 2. Been playing Splatoon 2 pretty much since that dropped. I tried ARMS, I bought it a few weeks back, and it's okay. Maybe I just need to keep playing it a bit more.
It's not as intuitive as I thought it would be, ARMS.
Really?
Yeah, I need to give it a bit more time.
I honestly found it more intuitive than I expected.
I want to try it with the Pro Controller though. I didn't get on with the Joy-Cons at all.
I tried it with the Pro Controller, and as much as I dislike motion controls, I actually preferred it with motion controls over the Pro Controller. I know that's kind of odd considering my stance on motion controls, but yeah, I preferred the motion controls.
I haven't played it in a proper living room. I've only been playing in a sort of cramped bedroom space at the moment.
Oh, okay, yeah, I could definitely see then. And I've also been painting my Pro Controller. Took it apart and I'm painting it a nice platinum color, so it's going to be a really nice throwback to the platinum GameCube controller and Wavebird.
Nice.
Make sure you post that onto r/Nintendo Switch to get a bunch of karma.
All that mad karma. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. I've taken some progress pictures of it as I've gone along. It's been 3 coats of paint. It's the 3rd coat, sealed it up beautifully. I was actually quite excited because on the back of the Pro Controller, it's got the Nintendo logo is actually, is imprinted in the plastic. And I was kind of worried that the spray paint would fill that in. You wouldn't really be able to see it, but no, it came out really nice. So to be able to really see that. The only thing that it's missing is the silk screen Switch logo. That's, right front and center. So I don't know. I'll see if I can get something I can use in my laser printer. I might try and print off, Switch logo and apply it on there. But yeah, so I should have that done probably tomorrow. I'm going to put a clear coat on that tonight. And then I think the next mod I'm going to do for it is actually replace the D-pad and the analog sticks with the ones from the Xbox One Elite controller.
Whoa, really?
So the analog sticks actually they fit perfectly. You don't have to modify the system at all. The D-pad though, the piece, the Xbox One piece, you have to kind of shave off some little nubs and stuff, but then that just drops right in there and it works well. I saw a video on YouTube. That's kind of where I got the idea, and it works well. The response and everything on the system as well. So that's the next mod that I'm going to do for my Pro Controller.
Is the D-pad that much better on the Xbox Pro Elite controller?
Well, the nice thing about the Elite controller is you can actually remove the analog sticks and the D-pad and replace them. They're magnetic.
Oh.
So you can actually put, for the analog sticks, you can raise them up. They've got different heights. And then for the D-pad, there's 2 different ones. There's a traditional D-pad, and there's more of like a solid circle where it's easier. I don't know, fight pad or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, if you look it up online, you'll be able to see what the Elite controller is. So it's kind of what I'm hoping to do. So that's what I've been doing. I'm planning on painting my second Pro Controller a nice copper color, and then if that works out well, I'm going to buy 2 more Pro Controllers and probably spray paint them metallic red and metallic green. A nice metallic red and a metallic foresty green type color for Mario and Link. So let's get into our first topic. Is Splatoon 2 just dropped the other day. Obviously, you guys have been playing it. What are your thoughts of the game now that it's out?
It's Splatoon 1, but it's way better. I mean, that's basically the best way to put it. The gameplay is refined, there's even more content, maybe not quite as much as Splatoon 1 after all the updates, but it's pretty close.
It'll just take time for the rest of the stuff to show up.
Fortunately, there's already 8 stages in the game, unlike the pitiful 5 that Splatoon 1 had at launch.
Do you think Nintendo will release a Splatoon map pack for Splatoon 2 and bring the original maps over?
Well, they already have Moray Towers and Salt Spray Rig from the first game in there, but they were like redesigned somewhat.
Okay.
There's another one as well that I played in Tower Control that came back from Splatoon. I don't know the name of it though.
I think they're only the 2 maps, unless I'm mistaken.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Sam? What do you think of the game so far?
Right now I'm still in the teething stage. I haven't fallen in love with it straight away just because it is so similar to Splatoon. The things that are missing are really frustrating me. There's, my favourite weapon didn't make it into Splatoon.
What's your favorite weapon?
Oh, I don't know the names of these things, but but the secondary weapon was a remote bomb that would go straight forward across the floor, and then you could follow behind it. Yeah, maybe the seeking bomb. And then you would go behind it. It was just a nice way to get into enemy territory.
There was a lot of weapons that were like that had the Seeky.
I'm constantly looking at my lap when I died, so where am I gonna go on the map? But of course, there's no gamepads. There's no gamepad there anymore. There's just a controller.
That annoys me so much. I barely super jump now because it's just kind of tedious to do so.
Once you get you do get used to it, and it's fine. Maybe not mid-match or while you're alive, you might not go back. You might not be super jumping as much, but definitely when you die, it's not too difficult to find where you're gonna start from. But it is definitely missing. You haven't got that immediate view of the map. I don't know, it's just slightly less intuitive and there's no way around it. And then there's some of the special attacks as well have been changed, which is good. It's a good thing, but I don't like it.
Yeah. Really? I really like all the new special attacks. I mean, all of them are new. I think it's cool to have a lot more, makes the game a lot fresher feel.
Yeah.
Though I do miss the Ink Strike.
Yeah, English Strike was the best. At the moment, I feel like an old Doctor Who seeing the new Doctor Who's TARDIS.
So, while I own Splatoon on the Wii U, I didn't really play it all that much, and because of my biggest complaint was the gamepad it became kind of big, heavy, and cumbersome after a while, and I just wanted to use the Pro Controller, and so I didn't really play a whole lot. Plus, I would just get frustrated because I sucked so badly at the game, whereas this time around, I'm using the Pro Controller, much more comfortable, and I'm doing much better now as well. I think I'm already level 5 or 6, and I've got my favorite weapon, which is the paint roller. I don't know if I will be switching from that because I love the paint roller. I hear Brooks groaning there. What, you don't like the paint roller?
The paint roller is overrated.
Yeah, well, I love it. Paint roller is awesome. So I've been using the paint roller and enjoying it much more than I did Splatoon 1. I thought I would have missed voice chat. I know everybody was complaining about voice chat. I thought I would miss voice chat, but it's been raised that your maps, your rounds are over in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If you were to have voice chat in a 3-minute round, it would just be people screaming at each other saying there's somebody in a certain area. The game goes too fast to actually have a meaningful conversation, or do anything other than just talking
or talk about your mother.
Man, you must have had a bad time on Xbox Live. But yeah, I don't think the game's really losing anything by not having chat. Mario Kart's going to be different because it's a very long game, and that's just going to be trash talking to Splatoon because it's so fast. Aside from trash talking, there's no other reason to have voice chat.
Really, all of that is solved by pressing down on the D-pad. Over here.
Yeah, but people aren't going to pay attention to those.
It's not perfect by any means, but it helps a lot, especially in Salmon Run. It's over here, there's a boss salmon in.
See, I haven't played the Salmon Run yet. As soon as I finished that crappy tutorial, I went straight into multiplayer.
Well, you do have to get to multiplayer rank 4 to go to Salmon Run.
Oh, okay.
I love Salmon Run. It is just amazing how fun and interesting it is. I really love cooperative gameplay more than competitive, and this really brings it. Yeah, it's just really fun. I find it interesting how they kind of have the enemies spread out, because I played probably 15 to 20 matches now, and you can get overwhelmed on the third round by the number of enemies.
Yeah.
You've got rain clouds of ink coming down, you've got missiles flying everywhere, you got a laser of ink, 2 lasers of ink, even ink bombs, things driving around. It is madness.
It is fun.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I need to play with you then. It's definitely manic, it's definitely a lot of fun.
After we finish recording, why don't we play some Salmon Run?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
How many people can you play Salmon Run with?
Up to 4 people.
Oh, even better.
And even if, say, you only have 3 friends in a group, you can recruit 1 person online.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Have you guys used any amiibos yet?
I used the Splatoon Boy, the Splatoon 1 Boy Inkling amiibo once, and they seem to give you the same armor they gave you in the first game, which is cool, but I kind of missed the single-player challenges.
Does it work only with the Inkling amiibos, or can you use other amiibos as well?
I believe it's just the Splatoon amiibo.
So if you've got a favourite armour and weapon combination that you use a lot, then you can save that to an amiibo, so that if you change your weapons out, you just tap any amiibo. It doesn't have to be a Splatoon amiibo.
Right.
Tap any amiibo to change back to that. But for the things that
Oh,
actually unlock stuff in the game, then you have to use the Splatoon amiibo.
Well, hopefully they'll introduce some more functionality, because I think it'd be kind of neat to get, like a Mario outfit or Samus outfit or, the traditional Link outfit or something that you could unlock using an appropriate amiibo.
Or a Poochie outfit.
Yeah, sure. Something kind of neat to make my collection of almost 70 amiibos worthwhile.
That's what Smash is for.
Yeah, I don't play Smash.
But
I'm not I don't play fighting games.
get out.
This is my podcast. I will take my podcast and I will go home.
Fine. Fine, you can stay then.
Okay. So let's move on to our next topic, which is the Nintendo Switch Online app. It released a couple days before Splatoon 2 dropped. I think it was something like the Wednesday or...
Yeah, like 2 days before or something like that.
Yeah, it took a while before you could actually even get into it, and even then, there wasn't a whole lot of functionality that I think you could launch the Splatoon portion, but, obviously because the game wasn't out, there wasn't really much that you could actually do with it. Have you guys used the app yet on your respective mobile platforms?
I've downloaded it and I've used it a little bit. Me and Iwata tried out a match using it, but you basically go into a single place, like a private lobby. I was saying it's Salmon Run. You can call on other people to help you.
Yeah.
You can't do anything like that in private battles, which
It's ridiculous.
it's a really glaring oversight.
It doesn't make it's for such a specific situation. You need, if you want to play traditional Splatoon with voice chat, then you need a party of at least 6 for it to be worthwhile.
Yeah, really.
You can't play with. It's not like you can play with strangers and only you and your friends can hear each other. You can only play with your friends, which means unless you have an even number of friends, then you're going to be in a one-sided match because somebody's going to have more on their team than the other team. What tends to be the case with me, I don't know what the typical case is, but I've got 1 or 2 friends that are online at the same time who are ready to play Splatoon, and if I play with them, that means it's going to be a 1 versus 2 match or something ridiculous. And 1v1 and 2v2 just isn't very fun Splatoon.
It's very lopsided.
Yeah, with Salmon Run, it works fine.
Yeah.
I found the voice quality isn't as good as just using Discord.
I've actually found it to be better. Found it to be really good.
I guess it could then depend on your internet connection. That's going to be heavily reliant on your internet connection.
Honestly, Discord will make clear. I mean, I get broken up a lot, though that's probably just my problem. I find that the online app for voice chat works better for that, but I feel that Splatoon isn't the best way to showcase it. As it stands, theoretically, the online app is basically Discord with no real advantages or disadvantages.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I guess the quote-unquote advantage is that when you're in your lobby, you can all speak to each other, and then when you go into your match, it splits you automatically into teams.
But the thing is, you need to have 6 people for that to be worthwhile.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise you got one person just talking to themselves.
It seems so weird. It's because Splatoon 1 was a big showcase of you don't need voice chat. And Splatoon 1 was really appealing, really fun, because there was no voice chat. It wasn't even an option, so this discussion wasn't even a thing about a bad voice app. You didn't speak to each other unless you were close enough friends that you could share a Discord or a Skype call or whatever. And Splatoon was kind of this poster child for Nintendo. The voice chat culture, we don't want to be a part of that. And now Splatoon's got this voice chat and we're having this conversation. I don't know, it makes them look really bad. They're getting hounded by the fans, by the press.
But in the first Splatoon, was there any sort of a game like Salmon Run?
No.
So I could see if this first Splatoon was the single player mode, and then it's just the frantic online mode. There's really nothing that would,
I feel that the voice chat from the online louds will be best for both Salmon Run and League battles, where you and 4 friends can, or up to 3 friends, my bad, can get together and do ranked matches, and you get ranked on them compared to other people during that 4-round period. And I find that work really well with the voice chat online.
You pretty much made the point that I was just about to make, and that's where it's going to be beneficial.
It's not good for the basic match of Splatoon, but everything else, and pretty much any other online game Nintendo has right now, it's going to be Discord without any advantages or disadvantages.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
And Nintendo know the value of human connection because they're the champions of split-screen multiplayer in an age where split screen is on its way out. You don't see it very often on non-Nintendo consoles. Sometimes there's a phase, where it lasts for a year or so, where everyone's like, oh yeah, we're going to bring split screen back. But then the next installment of their game is dropped again.
Yeah.
Nintendo's consistently a family couch multiplayer. They know that their player base wants to talk to each other and interact with each other. I don't know, it just seems such a... And yeah, this is a beta app. That's important to stress as well. This isn't the full app's release. It's going to get updated. The actual service isn't coming until next year.
Some of the complaints about the app are really overblown, because the whole headphone splitter, weird headphone thing with the splitter for having the phone and game, really, you could just plug in headphones or earbuds to
there you go.
to your phone, and then turn up the game volume just loud enough so that you can hear over.
Well,
that
voice chat doesn't require stereo audio, so there's no reason to have two headphones in use. In fact, when I finally get this working, I'm going to be using my Bluetooth headset that I use for my phone, for my work phone. I'm going to pair it up to my my personal cell, and I'm just going to use that because that's literally all you need. And then I've got my massive 5.1 speaker system for the rest of the game audio. But yeah, I think you're right. People are making a big deal out of this when it's not really that big of a deal.
I heard someone say but you'd be disturbing other people with the game music.
I'd be disturbing other people just by playing the game, period.
Yeah, if you're trying to do voice chat on a subway or something...
No, yeah, oh god.
Plain and
that's
simple.
Like the person that's talking loudly on their phone so you can hear both sides of the conversation. It's just not done.
Yeah.
You're gonna do voice chat if you are sitting in your living room, where you are kind of private and playing for a while. If you're out in public, you're not necessarily gonna be doing voice chat. You're just gonna look like a tool.
It's just going back to Splatoon as a game rather than the voice control. It really is. It's a great game. And it's just as fun as the first one, and you're making those memories, you're making those connections with people. It's a very personable game because you're choosing your fashions, you want to look as fresh as possible, you see the person with the stupid hat and you automatically go for them, especially when you get when they kill you get very frustrated because how dare the person in the stupid hat kill me. It's a game that doesn't need voice chat.
Yeah.
It probably shouldn't have voice chat. Friends who want to play together. It does come down where I would love to play Salmon around in these cooperative modes. And just with my friends, I just want to talk to my friends. And it's strange that it's not built into the system.
Hopefully there is a system update that eventually comes, whether it's in a year or two from now, hopefully obviously sooner than that does implement some sort of system, like the ability to use a headset on the system itself. We know that Bluetooth works just fine on the console because you can that's how the controllers pair up. You take an 8-bit DO controller, you pair it up to the system through Bluetooth. So we know for a fact that Bluetooth works just fine on the system. All they have to do is implement it at the system level via an update, and then, I'm really hoping that Nintendo eventually does that because we don't have to use the bloody app. Because I too would love to play multiplayer games with you guys and have voice chat and make it easy.
Will I use the app? Maybe. Will I use Discord over it? Maybe. There really is no reason to use one over the other, as far as I see it.
Yep. The lack of multitasking is really confusing. There's almost no excuse.
It's so pointless. Why can't I multitask?
Hopefully, though, it comes out in they fix some of these issues and the service ends up getting better, especially before the actual the paid online service starts, because I think that's one of the biggest things. They need to get these things sorted and ironed out before that happens.
Yeah, I'm sure things will get better by the time that rolls out.
Well, thanks for joining us for our 13th episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks again to Sam and Brooks for hanging out and talking Splatoon and Switch Online with me.
Lovely to come back.
Glad to be here.
So be sure to tune in to our next episode, where we'll be talking some more about Splatoon, ARMS probably, and we'll see kind of what kind of improvements have been made to the Switch Online application. And as always, please chime in on the subreddit post. Let us know what you thought of the episode, comments and suggestions as well.
And don't forget, on the next episode of Hello Nintendo, we'll answer the question again: is Nintendo doomed?
Next time on Hello Nintendo.